This is The Unseen Path by author Nagababu Jannu, narrated by Veena Prabhakaran Nair. Copyright 2026 Nagababu. All rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced or transmitted in any form or by any means without prior written permission of the publisher, except for brief quotations and reviews. This memoir is based on the author's personal experiences. Certain names, places, and identifying details have been changed to protect the privacy of individuals. The events and conversations are recalled to the best of the author's memory. First edition 2026. Published by Nagababu Jannu. ISBN 978-93-5679-366-8, India. Foreword. God creates each one of us with immense potential to achieve meaningful goals in life. Though our journeys may begin with uncertainty, faith, struggle, and patience gradually reveal a clear path forward. The Unseen Path reflects one such journey, quiet, courageous, and deeply inspiring. Being a mother first and a teacher later, I have personally witnessed the inner strength of those around me, and I take pride in being a part of their growth and transformation. Born into a family grounded in empathy and values, Nagababu rose in life with dignity and independence intact. Despite the obstacles he faced, he embraced them as opportunities, with support from family, friends, and mentors who believed in him. The Unseen Path reminds us that true ability often lies beyond what we see. When determination is strong, support arrives in unexpected ways. I hope this autobiography inspires many by highlighting the perseverance and potential of the differently able. By Swarnalata Teacher. Author's note. Every event and emotion in this book is drawn from my real life. While a few names have been adjusted for privacy, every struggle, victory, and moment of transformation described here happened as I remember it. The legal judgments and government orders I mention in the book may seem small, but they mark the first breakthroughs. I hope these steps help light the way, both for those who will walk this path and for those already finding their way along it. I have written this book with the same tools that help me study and work: a screen reader, a keyboard, and faith. The faith in God, in myself, and in the purpose of my journey. I have always believed that there is a divine reason behind every challenge. This belief has given me the strength to move forward, even when the path seems impossible. What you will read is not a story of disability, but of determination lived fully, remembered deeply, and shared truthfully. If this book helps even one person believe in their unseen strength, its purpose will be fulfilled. Editorial Acknowledgement. I thank Shikha Thakur and Rebecca Malachi for shaping this manuscript into a refined book with patience, insight, and editorial excellence. The effort, research, and interactions that went into this work extended far beyond editing. Preface. Writing The Unseen Path was not just an act of memory. It was an act of faith in God's plan, my own purpose, and every challenge of my life. Every word you're about to read was written without sight, but never without vision. I wrote this book with the same patience that once helped me learn Braille. I used the JAWS, Job Access with Speech, screen reader and a standard keyboard, which are the main tools for blind users. I composed, corrected, and rebuilt every line only through listening and re-listening until my story found its rhythm. This process was more than writing. It was rebuilding life through my memories and feelings. Each chapter carries a trace of memory. The warmth of my mother's hands. The voices of teachers who believed in me. The quiet support of my friends. And the echo of footsteps that taught me where hope begins. I did not write this book to prove what a blind person can do, but to show what any person can do when they refuse to not give up. This book took shape slowly, through nights of recalling events, re-listening to old recordings, and reliving moments that once tested my strength, but later revealed purpose. Introduction. Every life has a rhythm, sometimes clear, sometimes silent, sometimes waiting to be heard. Mine began in darkness, but it was never without direction. The moment I was born, the room held more questions than joy. Fear and disbelief of my family and people in the hospital filled the air. I wrote The Unseen Path to share the journey of finding strength when the road itself seemed invisible. It's a story of belief that grows from faith, resilience, and the will to move forward despite uncertainty. For most of my life, the path ahead revealed itself only when I started walking. Every stage, from classrooms that tested my patience to the fight for my right to study engineering, prepared me for greater challenges in finding a place in the leading global technology firms. Back then, around 2010, diversity and inclusion D&I barely existed in the Indian work environment. Adapting to the tools and work environments they had was another challenge. Most people had a perception that the blind cannot lead teams, make strategic decisions, and manage tech projects. Prove again and again that my capability is not defined by sight, but by vision. All these became my stepping stones to what I am today. Every chapter is a reminder that strength does not come from what we are given, but from what we create out of it. That's the unseen path. Welcome to my journey, a road that was never found but forged. I want readers, especially parents, to stop focusing on what their children lack and start seeing the spark that makes them unique. With the right support and encouragement, that spark can turn into something extraordinary. As you turn the pages, you will meet people with caring hearts, helping hands, and encouraging voices who became my compass to navigate life. I want my readers to understand that life, no matter how ordinary or overlooked, holds an extraordinary purpose waiting to unfold. Prologue. Born Against the Odds. Everything I know about the day I was born lives in the stories my mother and grandparents told me. They described it so vividly that it feels as though I was there myself. It was the summer of June 8, 1986, in Vuyuru, a small town in Andhra Pradesh, India, where my story began. I was told that the day was so hot that even the wind refused to move. The sun pressed hard against tiled roofs and the air hung thick with dust. Outside Pinamaneni Nursing Home, a modest hospital in the heart of the town, vendors called out for snacks and cool drinks,
their voices blending with the hum of the afternoon. But inside, everything slowed down. Footsteps, voices, and even breaths slowed down as if the air itself had grown heavy. The hospital smelled of Dettol, spirit, and phenyl. Ceiling fans groaned overhead, stirring the warm air but offering no comfort. People waited on wooden benches, their murmurs rising and falling like waves on a distant shore. My father, Nancharaya, waited outside the operation theatre, anxious and silent. Even my maternal uncles, Venkateshwara Rao and Pattabi, and paternal uncles, Durga Rao and Sambasiva Rao, were with him. My father worked as a cycle mechanic and was known for his skills with machines and quick hands. He was not bad at heart, but drinking too often took hold of his better side at times, turning some days unpredictable. However, that day he was quiet, hopeful and sober. My maternal grandfather, Gurunatham, sat with his head bowed, whispering mantras under his breath. He had never gone to school, yet he carried himself with dignity. He ran a small cool drink shop and was respected in our town for his honesty and self-discipline. To him, work was worship. My grandmother, Anasurya, who believed that prayers could do wonders, started praying softly. Swami Rakshanna Chandi. It's a Telugu plea that means, Lord, protect them, often spoken in moments of fear. She had no formal education, but her faith was deep and unwavering. My paternal grandparents, Ramaya and Chayamma, were silent, yet I'm told they were steady with fear and hope. And in the center of all this was my mother, Venkateshwaramma. Kind-hearted and spiritual, she was the woman of calm that always steadied everyone around her. Her prayers had no script. They were born from love and strength. Behind the closed doors of the operation theatre, my mother was fighting her own battle. Hours of labor had left her weak, yet she held on to every breath. The labor wasn't progressing normally, and there were growing concerns about her safety and mine. Doctors decided that a cesarean section was the only way to bring me safely into the world. I have been told the story many times by my mother, how metal instruments clinked against steel trays, nurses hurried across the floor, and the air was heavy with the smell of antiseptic. It was a scene I have learned to imagine through their stories. My mother's strength was fading, yet she held on. Then came my first cry, a sharp, insistent sound that cut through the stillness of the room. Outside in the waiting hall, relief spread like cool air after a long, hot day. My grandmother gasped, "Babu Vachadu," which means our boy is here. But inside, under the bright glare of the theatre lamps, the doctor examined me carefully. He moved a small torch in front of my eyes. No response. He tried again. Still nothing. A quiet understanding passed his face. He stepped out, his voice heavy as he said to my father, "Your son is blind." And for a moment, everything fell silent. My father froze. My grandparents stood still. Then came the whispers from the people who were around in the hospital corridor. Soft, relentless. A blind child? What life will he ever have? He will end up begging. This is a curse on the family. On the hospital bed, pale and trembling, my mother heard every one of them. She had endured pain, fear, and exhaustion, and now the sharper sting of fate. Between fear and faith, something in her spirit refused to break. Through the pain and tears, she made a vow, fierce, silent, and unshakable. My son will not beg. He will not live in shame. Even if I must stand against the world, I will make him walk with dignity. That vow, which was born in the sterile air of an operation theatre, became the shield I've carried all my life. It was my mother's first gift to me, and it has never left my side.